Keaton wasn't just an actress, she was a true original. Quirky, fearless, and brilliantly comedic, right? From her unforgettable performances in the Godfather saga to redefining romantic comedy in Annie Hall, she really knew how to make a mark. And let's not forget those warm, wise characters she brought to life in films like Father of the Bride. She truly inhabited each role with such an irrepressible spirit. Isn't that amazing? The world was stunned when news broke that the Oscar-winning actress passed away at age 79 on Saturday in California. Her loss leaves a void in cinema, fashion, and in the hearts of millions of fans. Keaton wasn't just an actress. She was a true original, quirky, fearless, and brilliantly comedic, right? From her unforgettable performances in the Godfather saga to redefining romantic comedy in Annie Hall, she really knew how to make a mark. And let's not forget those warm, wise characters she brought to life in films like Father of the Bride. She truly inhabited each role with such an irrepressible spirit. Isn't that amazing? In the next few minutes, I'd like to walk you through her life and legacy, how she rose to fame, the signature moments of her career, the personal values she embodied, the circumstances of her passing, and how the world is responding to her departure. Early life and early career. Keaton wasn't just an actress, she was a true original. Quirky, fearless, and brilliantly comedic, right? From her unforgettable performances in the Godfather saga to redefining romantic comedy in Annie Hall, she really knew how to make a mark. And let's not forget those warm, wise characters she brought to life in films like Father of the Bride. She truly inhabited each role with such an irrepressible spirit. Isn't that amazing? The world was stunned when news broke that the Oscar-winning actress passed away at age 79 on Saturday in California. Her loss leaves a void in cinema, fashion, and in the hearts of millions of fans. When she decided to dive into acting, she took on her mother's maiden name, Keaton, which has a nice ring to it, don't you think? She honed her craft at the Neighborhood Playhouse in New York, kicking off her journey on stage. Her Broadway debut was in the original production of Hair back in 1968, and just a year later, she joined the cast of Woody Allen's Play It Again, Sam. It was like a natural progression for her to move into film after that. At first, she snagged some smaller roles, but it didn't take long for her to catch the attention of some really impressive directors. How cool is that? Her breakthrough came in 1972 when she was cast as Kay Adams in The Godfather, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. That role would define one of her earliest major screen identities, but equally important was her connection to Woody Allen. She starred in Play It Again, Sam Film, Sleeper, Love and Death, and ultimately Annie Hall. It was Annie Hall in 1977 that earned her the Academy Award for Best Actress. Peak years and signature roles, if asked to name a few Diane Keaton roles, most people would mention Annie Hall, The Godfather, and Father of the Bride. And for good reason, each of those captures a different facet of what made her extraordinary. In Annie Hall, she wasn't simply the romantic lead. She was quirky, neurotic, real. Her wardrobe of neckties, vests, hats, and khakis became iconic. Her delivery of lines like La Dita remains etched in popular culture. At the same time, her performance in the Godfather films showed she could hold her own in epic, dramatic terrain. She reprised Kay Adams in Part 2 and Part 3, imbuing the role with a quiet, moral core even as the world around her spiraled into corruption and violence. And then there's Father of the Bride, 1991, and its 1995 sequel, light, warm, comedic family fare. She gave the role of the mother figure a fresh, grounded charm that resonated with audiences across generations. But her range extended well beyond those three. She was nominated for Oscars for Red's 1981, Marvin's Room 1996, and Something's Gotta Give 2003. She also ventured behind the camera, directing films such as Hanging Up 2000, which also starred her, and producing projects as well. Even in recent years, she remained active. Her last film, Summer Camp 2024, carried her creative spirit into her later years. Perhaps one of her enduring strengths was her ability to make every role feel lived in, with a tug of heart, a touch of humor, and a belief in the humanity of even flawed characters. She never became a hollow star. She remained someone you felt you could know across decades. Personality, style, and impact. Diane Keaton was as celebrated off-screen as she was on-screen. Her sense of style was singular. She personified a kind of androgynous, offbeat elegance that blended masculine and feminine touches. Hats, ties, glasses, she made them her signature. She was known for being deeply independent. She never married. In her 50s, she adopted 2 children, Dexter and Duke, creating a family on her own terms. Friends say she remained humorous and alive until the very end, funny right up until the end. A close friend told People in those later months, she kept a small, close circle, valuing privacy, intimacy, and the people she loved around her. Her creative restlessness extended into design and architecture. She published a book, The House That Pinterest Built, wrote memoirs, took photographs, and embraced aesthetic projects with passion. She battled health challenges over her life. She spoke publicly about struggles with bulimia and earlier in life with skin cancer, but she never allowed those parts of her life to eclipse her vibrant presence. Circumstances of her death and reactions. On October 11, 2025, Diane Keaton passed away at age 79 in California. The death was confirmed by her longtime producer, Dory Rath. The Los Angeles Fire Department responded to a medical call at her home in Brentwood around 8:08 a.m. local time and transported a patient to a hospital. Beyond that, few details about cause or circumstances have been made public. In the months prior, her health had reportedly declined very suddenly. Friends close to her say her decline was unexpected. She even listed her beloved dream home for sale in March, a move that surprised many, as she had long intended to stay there permanently. Tributes have poured in from across Hollywood and beyond. Betty Midler, who starred alongside her in The First Wives Club, described Keaton as hilarious, a complete original, and completely without guile. Leonardo DiCaprio called her one of a kind, brilliant, funny, and unapologetically herself. Other stars, Goldie Hawn, Steve Martin, Jane Fonda, Kate Hudson, Viola Davis, and more, shared memories, gratitude, and sorrow. On October 11th, Saturday Night Live aired a tribute at the close of its recent episode honoring her legacy. One thing is clear, Hollywood and audiences everywhere has lost a true original. Legacy and closing reflection. What will Diane Keaton leave behind? A body of work that spans comedy and drama, risk and warmth, commercial hits, and personal passion projects. But more than that, a model of authenticity. She showed that it was possible to survive, even thrive, in an industry that often demands conformity. She stayed true to her voice, even as she evolved. She gave us characters we recognized, women of heart, humor, complexity, her style, her spirit, her insistence on personal freedom, her love of home and creativity. Those will remain part of her legacy. In film studies, in fashion essays, in the memories of audiences who laughed, cried, and felt seen in her work. So tonight, we say thank you, Diane Keaton, for the films, the laughter, the vulnerability, and the reminder that an artist's life is never just what happens on screen. It's every choice, every eccentricity, every moment lived. May her family find peace in this sorrow. And may we, as her fans and admirers, continue to find solace and inspiration in her art. Thank you.